Good evening, class. Tonight we are going to have a lesson on DC Universe Classics Wave 11, figure number 5. Can you see all 5 fingers? Figure 5, The Question. He is the fan's choice, so I think there's some kind of vote. I don't really remember, I haven't really followed it too much. But the fans chose the question, which is excellent because the question is awesome. We can take a quick look at the package here before we open it. Comes with the left leg of Kilowog, which is excellent. Here on the back we can see some of the other figures in the series, and we've probably done this a few times already. There's Cat Matui, Shark, Deadman, Cyborg Superman, The Question, obviously that's who we're looking at now. John Stewart, this dude Steppenwolf, comes with a figure stand. And all of them come with pieces except for this jerk here that form Kilowog. So we can put him together when we're done. Now a little bit of biography on The Question. His real name is, well, his alias I suppose is Vic Sage, and he's an investigative reporter who's decided to fight crime. He fought someone named Lady Shiva, was killed, resurrected, and that made him realize he needs to come back with the vengeance to fight crime, etc., etc. Even though I think in, what was it, Infinite Crisis, he apparently died, and Detective Montoya, who I remember as being part of the Gotham City Police, took his place as the new Question. But given how much of a conspiracy theorist he is, he may have faked his own death. In terms of his statistics, well, you know what? He first showed up in 1967. Vic Sage, although Charles Victor was at Zaz. Ooh, isn't there a Batman villain named Zaz? Can't remember. Anyways, he's a costume vigilante. He's pretty good at hand-to-hand combat. He's a good detective. He probably rivals Batman, which is a little bit scary. There we go. We have our good friend there, The Question. We'll have a look at him once I get my trusty left-handed knife and I cut this thing up. Ooh. And we get it out of the package. So, there we go. Ooh. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Now that myself and my trusty left-handed knife have defeated the evil packaging that was holding in The Question, we can now have a closer look at The Question. And we'll do a quick 360 of him here. You can see most of it. He's got the big blue coat, which is nice. We can have a look all the way around there, back to his front. So there we have The Question. I have to say, Fan's choice is right. This is one of those figures that I probably would have bought regardless. I don't know a whole lot about The Question. I haven't read. I'm not a big comics reader anymore. I follow a little bit of it on the net, but you know, I looked him up on Wiki, and I know him from Justice League Unlimited, where I just thought he was exceptional. I would watch a show based on The Question, probably toss in Huntress as well. But that's not what we're focused on right now. We're focusing on The Question. Have a look at him. Now, for his mold, obviously going to be very different from most of the DCU figures, at least from this wave, because they don't use kind of the typical mold for a lot of the body. Like if we look at John Stewart here, that's more or less what we expect. I think that's kind of the typical mold for most of the figures, right? Question, not going to be so much. If we kind of remove his coat, we can see the pants there. And the coat and the jacket appears to be one piece. I think the tie is separate though. I think if we wanted to, we could pull the tie out, but I'm not going to because I can't guarantee I'd be able to get it back in. But we can see that it does go up pretty far. I think actually they'd probably put it on, then put the arms on, or put the arms in afterwards. In terms of the color scheme, we've got the blue trench coat, the black gloves, which is nice. The vest is slightly different colored. It's more of a grayish blue kind of color, same color as his pants. He's got the black shoes, of course the black tie, his yellow shirt, and the blue hat up here, which is nice, and it's got that black band around it with his black hair, which I believe was actually part of his costume as well. He could change the color of his hair. He's usually a ginger, I think. This, again, it's been a little while since I read Wiki, so I could be wrong. I know it shows up like that in Justice League Unlimited. And we can see even here with the detailing on the mold, we've got the pockets for the coat, and we've got the tie, I don't want to say the belt, but the tie that goes around the coat here on the back. tied to keep out of his way. Now in terms of articulation, he's not going to have the best compared to some of the others, and it's going to be largely because of this coat. So we can rotate the head all the way around, and we can move it up and down a little bit. Arms are going to go up actually pretty high at the shoulders, and we can rotate at the bicep, bend here at the elbow, and then twist the hands at the wrist. But you can even hear it doesn't move too well. That's okay. The waist, you know what, we've got a little bit there, but it's impeded by his jacket and his coat. Well, I guess we can go all the way around. Whether or not he's got that middle articulation, unless somebody wants to take their question and butcher it and take the coat off and show me, I'm not too sure. It's really hard to tell. It might move a little bit in there. The legs, we're going to go forwards a little bit, backward, not much at all, because again, mostly because of the coat, but with most of the DC figures I've seen so far, the legs don't go that far back anyway. Almost no sideways motion. I think the joint is there, but again, the coat is just in the way. We can rotate at the thigh, and then we can bend at the knee, and then his foot will move a little bit at the ankle, but not a whole lot. One thing I like to point out though, even though, like, just look at the pants here, how they come down over the shoe and the ankle joint is built in there. Just love it. I think it's awesome. And his face, we have to look at his face a little bit. So there we go. We can tell it's a human face. We can see kind of the indentation there for the eyes and how the nose sticks out a little bit, and there should be like cheekbones here and a mouth. Can't see much. It's a little more detailed than what we got on Justice League, but maybe that's just due to the limitations of the animation, or maybe stylistically they wanted to show even less, but I think they show a little bit more here, which is okay. Now, in terms of dynamic poses, yeah, you know, you're probably not going to do a whole lot with the question, but let's face it, the question I don't think really did that kind of thing too much. You just kind of see him looking sideways, walking around, which is okay. That's kind of the iconic thing we'd want to do with this figure. So, like a lot of the others from this wave, he does come with a piece of Kilowog, although I have to admit, I would probably buy this figure even if he didn't, because I just think the question's awesome. He comes with here, we got the left leg. Much like the other leg, and a lot of the other pieces of Kilowog, this has got some heft. But we'll look at that more when we assemble Kilowog. One thing I like to point out here, and I don't know if it's just mine, it looks like someone screwed up with their black paint or something here on the side. Or there's a little bit of green there underneath, I don't know. It's just an imperfection, I think, of this particular figure, which is too bad, but you know what, I'm not going to go buy another one for her. I just can't be bothered. We'll look at more of Kilowog later. Back to the question. I'm still just kind of gushing over this figure. If we look, again, at the shoes, we can see that we've got the detail of the shoelaces on there, and we can see the kind of shoes. He's got the kind of dress shoes. I don't know what kind they are. I'm not an aficionado on shoes. I have dress shoes, running shoes, and work boots. Excellent, excellent figure. I don't know what else to say besides go buy this figure. One of the things that I was wondering before, and I have read about it on Wiki, is that either this character was the inspiration for Rorschach, or Rorschach was the inspiration for the question. But I think the question came first. But you know, if I wish I had one I could put side by side, how similar they are. A guy with basically no face, the hat's similar, just basically the coat's a different color. And they're both kind of the same way, conspiracy theorists, kind of loners, kick-ass fighters, very good at what they do. So, there we have the question. Excellent, excellent figure. If I'm going to give this figure a rating, you know, he gets an A too. So far, I think we'll put him beside Deadman too. I'm going to have both of them standing up somewhere, because they are excellent. An A for the question. So, I think that just about wraps up our lesson on the question. Stay tuned for more videos from this wave. Eventually we are going to look at Kilowog. So, class dismissed, and have a good night.